Welcome to Is the Game Too Loud? Because I can turn it down. I'm gonna turn it down just a bit. It's not in my ears, but it's like I'm gonna yeah, we don't need the music to be so loud. So we're just gonna turn it down. So hi. Welcome to not Ace Attorney. Be like, Nitro, it's been it was the beginning of this year that you played Apollo's Justice, and you have not played a single Ace Attorney game since. Objection, Your Honor. I played Investigations 2 not too long ago. You know, like right before the official English release of it came out. But welcome to Trollment, Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. I am excited for this. So, for those who don't know how I ended up finding this game, well, you can blame my moderator Madcap for this one. He's the one who sent me the link to the Steam page, and I looked at it and I was like, it's Ace Attorney, but with magic and wizards and stuff. I'm like, I'm in. I was like, and then I added it to my wish list, and then later I purchased it. So, here we are. And the later has now become, I am now playing it. So, ha ha ha. I've been excited for this one for a long time. That's why I knew I had to put it before Dual Destiny. Am I just holding off of Dual Destiny and Spirit of Justice because I heard they're just kind of mid? No, absolutely not. I'm excited to get into those two, but there's like so many other games to play too. I can't just focus on Ace Attorney the whole time, right? Sometimes you gotta do the Ace Attorney inspired games, obviously. Anyways, now you might be wondering, Nitro, Turnabout Christmas is next week. Are you really sure it's a good idea to be starting a new game? This it will be fine. Trust me. So, yeah, we're gonna just switch over and start. Don't worry. Is it gonna jump us like right into a trial? The fields of the battle are filled with suffering and despair. On them, a clash of souls, souls brought by conflict by the corrupt powers that rule over them. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. We were driving the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. I was so worried that something was amiss, so I walked around the building to see what the commotion was. There I saw the defendant. She was lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. And she was stabbing the victim with her magical sword.
Objection!
Mr. Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim? And you especially saw her using her casting her magic while doing so? Yes, I can never forget a Graceleaf sight. That moment was burned into my memory. I see. Well, that's funny you say that. How so? Because your entire testimony was a complete lie. Ooh. But what?
Objection!
Are you excusing the witness of perjury? Surely you know not that such accusation can be made lightly, Mr. Cuthbert. My accusation is far from baseless, says Steelwind. Think about the state of the crime scene at the time of the murder. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. He knows something. On this battlefield, there are still a few people who can carry out the ideal of justice within their hearts. But you have to wonder sometimes, are these ideals truly just? Or are they simply lies they feed fed to us by our elders. Damn it. Damn it! Flintheart, you fool! Why couldn't you have just listened to me? Ooh, he hot. Oh, he pretty. Is that our client? Our client's hot. We're barely just getting into it and I'm already claiming people are hot. Rudolph, I haven't required your assistance. Yes, sir? By the Scad Lord, what did you do? You killed him? Alert the town guard. Tell him that you saw his daughter fleeing the scenes. Oh, so the murderer is the hot one. And we're defending the... I'm sure their neighbors heard them arguing with each other. They immediately suspect her. At once, sir. We're already getting into stuff here. Earlier that day. Ugh. You feel yourself slowly succumbing to the unbearable pain. You don't think you'll be able to survive this much longer. Are you sure you're okay, Cuthbert? You look like you're about to pass out. Don't you worry about me, Miss Thelma. I'm fine. You've been riding this carriage for days. You're definitely not fine. Well, each bump in the road, you feel yourself becoming more and more nauseous. It's taking every ounce of willpower just to hold down your lunch. I'm perfectly fine! What is he? If you say so. You feel the carriage drive over a large bump on the road. You can feel and hear your stomach regressing in protest. That stew you ate for lunch doesn't taste nearly as good the second time. On second thought. That's better. You take a deep breath of fresh air. It's the first breath you've taken today that hasn't started to come back out. Sorry about this. I didn't expect the roads in this town to be uneven. I suppose they don't get a lot of traffic here? You've been on the road with your mentor for days. Together, you've been searching for a man named Flint McCoy. Supposedly, he's been a voice of disappearance against King Oliver for the last few decades. You had no idea what kind of business Miss Torma had with him, but you know better than to ask questions about her affairs. I have a feeling. Hello, travelers. Welcome to Cornhaven. A local merchant steps out from one of the nearby shops. He has a wide smile on his face, but he approaches your carriage with the enthusiasm of a starving vulture. Would a pair of dignified individuals such as yourself care for a refreshing drink? He certainly has a friendly expression, but his thoughts seem very analytical. Well, I don't need a drink, but... Miss Tyrion glances at you. Your stungle rumbles in agreement. Ah, of course. I have just the thing for an upset stomach. His thoughts and emotions are laid bare out in front of your eyes of Horus. But the merchant's expression does not betray a hint of what he's truly thinking. You wonder if his false smile could get any bigger. At this rate, he might dislocate your jaw. How about 2 flasks of apple juice for 50 pieces? 50 SP. You may find the price daunting, but this fresh, organic, fresh-made apple juice, it's just store-bought juice. I bet that they can't even tell the difference. At the corner of your eye, you spot an empty bottle of store-bought apple juice. It's resting on the table inside the merchant's shop. Store-bought apple juice has been added to your notes. Notes are just instruments for solving mysteries and progressing through the game. You can check these notes. Okay, so this isn't our evidence. Okay. Trust me, it's worth the extra gold. Normally the price wouldn't matter that too much to you, but you didn't appreciate being treated like an easy mark. You start an argument with another character. During an argument, your opponent will make claims that you'll need to respond to. Responding correctly will lower the opponent's confidence. incorrectly will lower your confidence, and once you run out of confidence, you will lose the argument. I think you need to elaborate. You said the apple juice is organic, but where is it made? It's produced by the hardworking people of this town, of course. In a small town like ours, we only make deals with the locally sourced products. You say that, but I can see an empty bottle of store-bought juice in your shop. Why do you have to have something like this if you only deal with organic products? Oh, how did you get there? Make no mistake, I only have that because I wanted to see how my products compared to that of the cities. And I'll tell you, that mass-produced slop doesn't even compare to my products. What an oblivious lie. Honestly, I'm offering you a very good deal. Interrupting during arguments. For certain claims, you'll need to look through the opponent's thoughts and emotions. Choose the correct response depending on the information seen. Logic. If this is the option your opponent's thought contradicts something coming in your notes. Intuition. Opponent's thoughts contradict your claim. Empathy. Opponent's emotion contradicts your claim. I usually myself this stuff. Sir, it's obvious those flakes are only worth 5 silver piece. Well, how did you? Well, it's clear you're a very shrewd man. Right. I'm so thirsty. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot a child watching you from afar. Her eyes are fixated on the flasks of apple juice. How about 20 silver piece for three flasks? Of course, sir. The kingdom of Wavering Guard, established several centuries ago by the 7 high archmages. The kingdom is currently ruled by King Oliver de Weingard and the mages of his nobility. The nobility tells you that you are a marvelous kingdom is a land of prosperity and happiness, a land where its people share wealth and success provided by the kingdom's magic. Thank you. I haven't anything like this in years. The child's passing through tells you exactly how much score the kingdom is sharing. I didn't know you had such an eye for real economics. Well, I suppose I just have a good intuition for this sort of thing. Or did you use another kind of eye? Don't get me wrong, your so-called Eyes of Horus is an amazing gift. You should take every opportunity to hone it. But try to be a little more subtle next time. If I can see through you, others will be able to as well. Right. Anyways, I did some asking around while you were haggling. Supposedly, the McCoy Tavern should be north of here. Hello, hello! If my tip is correct, this should be the place. Wait, this is the McCoy Tavern? What's the Edison? Calling it a tavern is pretty generous. You'll find it hard to believe that this has a secret meeting place. Okay, here's the thing. I didn't technically finish it on stream, but I am going back and gonna finish it sometime this week off stream. But I have basically through, where did I leave off on stream? Because I did end up playing a little bit more after stream. I remember the last thing I did was going back to the crew quarters for the last golden file and then reading all the golden files. I laughed at some of those. You find it hard to believe that this is a secret meeting for a distance. But now that you think about it, maybe that's the entire point. The tavern has been shut down for years. Nowadays, Flintheart just uses it to host his rallies. Although, I do wonder how they've been keeping themselves afloat for this long. Hey! You lots! The McCoy Tavern is closed! A gruff man approaches your carriage as you step out of it. He's eyeing you, Miss Tormorrow. Yeah, that was probably the one I laughed the hardest at. Not gonna lie. It's the one thing, that was like one of those things where it's just like, I hope this gets explained. And it was like just there in a golden file. I'm just like, yes, that is even funnier than I expected. I take it that you're Flintheart McCoy? I am. What of it? Sorry for not writing ahead of time, but I'm Ruby Toima. I wanted to speak with you. Ruby Toima. Wait. This is Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. It is an Ace Attorney inspired. It's inspired by Ace Attorney, but it has magic and wizards and stuff, and I'm here for it. I only started it like 20 minutes ago, but I'm here for it already. I can definitely tell the any amenity he initially had immediately vanishes. He lets out a laugh. It's FFC was a meeting, an old friend. Why didn't you say so? Come on in. You didn't expect someone like him to know about Miss Tomiya. But you suppose it makes sense. They both fight against the same enemy. Albert. In different ways. Sorry about the mess. We haven't exactly been... Well, anyways, what brings you here? I take it you didn't journey all this way to see my record tavern. I'm here on behalf of a client. We have a proposition that you might be interested in. Is there anywhere where we could talk more privately? Sure. The kitchen's empty. Wonderful. Tyrion, stay here while I speak with McCoy. But what? Don't you need my help? There's no need for that. Like hell, there's no need for that. If she's trying to make a deal with Flintheart, you can easily use her thoughts to help her. You desperately want to object, but she shoots you a stern look that causes you to freeze up. You slowly look away from her. You spend more time waiting alone in the tavern's dining area. It's already been hours since Miss Toma and Flintheart went into the talk in the kitchen. That's absolutely fair. My main goal with this game too is, you know, play it, have a good time, and also be like, hey yo people, this is a fun game, you should play it, and give lots of loves to the developers. Also, this game's like, if I remember right, it's like $15, so pretty good deal, eh? It's like, if I remember right, it's like a little cheaper than like an Ace Attorney trilogy would be. Well, it depends on, well, then again, that does depend on which trilogy you're buying. I wouldn't remember because I don't remember the prices of either of the trilogies. But you can hear faint hummers from behind the closed doors, but you're resistant to the urge to eavesdrop. But even from here, you can tell that their conversation is becoming more and more frustrated. Looks like they're going to be a while. Well, it's a good thing you always bring a chess set around. What's up with attorneys? What's up with lawyers and chess? I say that because remember the last Ace Attorney game we played was Investigations 2, and that was very much chess-like. You bring out the small chessboard that you carried around since you were a child. Chess can be played with one person, and you've always taken advantage of that. I'm curious then about that. How do you play chess as one person?
Here's a summary of the week about things you should know. 1. Set up the board as you would for a normal chess game, and make the first move as the white pieces. 2. Play the first move as the black pieces. And 3. Alternate moving for both colors.
Thanks, Google. Checkmate. You win against yourself. this time as black. Ah, I get it. Just play both sides. I played 10 games already, and I won 7 out of 10 times as black. Hello? Statistically, white is more likely to win. Unbeknownst to you, you're thinking out loud. So why am I performing so much better when I'm playing as black? Hello? You still don't notice her, and you're verbalizing your thoughts as fast as you're thinking them. Am I becoming overconfident because it has a first move advantage? Or perhaps this very advantage is affecting my choices and making me play in a sub-ultimate manner. If a personality quirk is making me play illogically, then I need to correct it. Hey! Ah! What? How long have you been standing there? I paid money, got special... Oh! Oh, so you got capturing radiance? There absolutely goes my prediction of he's gonna win at least 3 50-50s. Here you are already losing 4. Well, yeah, technically there. Yeah, I guess. But, you know, you did hit capturing radiance, so. I was like, I was actually thinking about that when I was setting up stream. I was like, Random could hit capturing radiance pretty soon. I was like, I watched you lose 3 50-50s. It's about time you noticed me. I've been trying to get your attention for a while now. Sorry. Do you know where my dad is? Your dad? Flintheart McCoy. I'm his daughter, Celeste. See, Random, also, that's what you get for being in a voice call with me. Little Miss hasn't won a 50-50 to a man yet. I have no idea. Oh. Flintheart's speaking with my mentor right now. She's 19. And fuck, of course you would. I mean, to be fair, I would. Her father's kind of. Aw, I wanted to show him something. Do you know when they'll be done? I don't know. They've been speaking in the kitchen for a while now. You heard from her, Miss Toma's voice is getting louder and more frustrated. But Celeste doesn't seem to notice. Her eyes seem to be more focused on your chessboard. This is chess, right? Are you playing against someone? Oh, I'm playing against myself, actually. Oh, that's a little depressing if you think about it. You feel a judgmental stare. Playing alone helps me develop new strategies. Plenty of professionals do it. Hey, I'm not the type to shame. I'm not the type to shame a man for playing with himself. That's relax. I'm just joking. Anyways, if you're waiting for your mentor, do you want to play a game? Oh, you know how to play? Sure. I've read about this before. She reads about it. Ugh, this table is so dusty. Celeste takes a seat on the other side of the table. She tries to set up her side of the board but fumbles with the pieces. She stares at one of them confused. How do I arrange these again? A part of you regrets accepting her challenge, but it'd be impolite to take back out now. Here, I'll arrange them for you. Thanks! Checkmate. You defeat her in 2 moves. Wait, what? Already? How did you do that? You decided against telling her what the name of that mate was. Rematch me! I want a do-over! Sure, why not? It's not like you have anything better to do. Celeste brows furrows as she decides her next move, but she hasn't really realized that the game is already finished. Here! She moves her knight into a position to attack your queen. It should have stopped your assault on her king, but checkmate. A scholar's mate this time. What? Come on! How'd you keep doing that? You look at the closed door to the kitchen. Finhart and Miss Tonia's discussion is becoming louder. Doesn't sound like they'll be done anytime soon. I can! I'll definitely beat you this time! For someone who has clearly never played before, she's quickly improving with each game. It's impressive. She is observing your strategies and adapting them to her playstyle. With the way she's playing now, she could even defeat a nationally ranked noble. Checkmate. But even so, you've been playing this game for a lot longer than she has. Why are you always one step ahead of me? It's like you're reading my mind. As if you even need to. Just one more game. I'll get you this time. Hello, Cuthbert. Miss Toma emerges from the kitchen with Flintheart. They both look mentally exhausted. And looks like the negotiation didn't go well. Hi, Dad! Oh, hello, sweetie. See? This is a would. I would. Don't give me the he's 52. Flintheart looks irritated, but soon he sees Celeste. He quickly hides behind a smile. You wonder what their discussion was about. What's this? Some kind of game? Miss Tonia glances at the pieces of the board. Don't feel too bad about losing to him. He's nationally ranked. Oh, you're a professional? Is that why you're wearing a suit? Yes! No, chess is just a hobby. I'm actually a defense attorney. An attorney? Speaking of which, we should probably be on our way. Sorry for refusing you after you came all this way. I really expect what you're doing, but I don't want anything to do with your mage friends. You wonder what he meant by that. Is Mr. Tomura trying to introduce him to one of our clients? Anyways, it's getting late. If you're leaving now, you won't get back to the city until morning. She's right. The region is littered with bandits and Belgrams. You wouldn't want to run into them this late. I guess you have a point. We have plenty of empty rooms you can stay in until morning. It's the least I can do after you came all this way. Well, if it's not too much trouble, we might as well stay here until tomorrow. The tavern is shut down, but we still have some sheets and blankets. I'll go get the rooms ready. Celeste and Flintheart leave the dining area to get your rooms ready. You left in the dining room with Miss Tomoya. So, I take it that the negotiations didn't go well? No, I didn't expect him to be so stubborn. Honestly, I have no idea what that man has against mages. Hello, Void. Hello, hello. Wow, everybody's just tuning in for Nitro playing a new game. I love it. Well, there is one way to find out. Why are you being so secretive? If your business with Flintheart is related to our clients, I can help. It wasn't important, and your presence was not necessary. That's such an obvious lie, but you can't read a single thought from her mind. She has years of practice of hiding her thoughts from the eyes of audience. Celeste instinctively came back downstairs, but she seemed to have noticed the tension between you and Miss Tomoya. So sorry to interrupt, but your room's are ready now. Right. Thank you. An awkward silence hangs in the air as you and Miss Tomoya head upstairs. You reach the upper hallways and see 2 rooms that Celeste had prepared for you. Miss Tomoya stops before entering her room. You were playing chess with Flintheart's daughter earlier. Was she any good? Not at first, but she got a lot better as we kept playing. I'm sorry for leaving you for there so long. I didn't expect our discussion to last that long. No, it's fine. Despite everything, I enjoyed playing against her. I see. Well, I suppose you are at that age. No, it's not like that! It's just, outside of tournaments, I never really get to play against another player. And you only ever want to, see play Soji against me. Because Soji is clearly superior. It's completely anarchy! That is what it is! You just bring falling pieces back to life for some kind of necromancer. It adds depth. Dropping adds a dimension of play that isn't present in chess. You certainly look at each other. Your position's already made. After a few moments of silence, you both burst out in laughing. I'm sorry if it looks like I don't trust you. I know you're just trying to help. But there are some things about my work that I just can't tell you about yet. But one day, I'll tell you everything. Right, I'm sorry for prying. I just want to show you I'm ready to be an attorney. You are. I know you are. The rare praise from your mentor catches you off guard. Anyways, get some rest. You should mentally prepare yourself for the journey tomorrow. Right. You completely forgot about the carriage ride back. You can already feel your stomach churning in protest. Right. You lay in the bed that the McCoy has prepared for you, and as you close your eyes, you slowly drift into a deep slumber. As this happens, you feel something invasive. Your mind drifts away, and you feel yourself being pulled elsewhere. You find yourself in a surreal, unsettling landscape. You're fairly certain that you are dreaming right now, but the instincts in the back of your mind is telling me that something is fundamentally wrong about this. What? You see a woman in the far distance. She's staring directly at you. What presence? She's muttering something, but you can't quite make it out. Is she trying to say something to you? Finally found. What? You jolted wide awake. You can't exactly remember what the woman said to you, but whatever her words were, they sent a piercing chill down your spine. Your breath is heavy and your heart is beating at 100 miles per hour. Calm down. It was just a dream. At least, that's what you try to tell yourself. Please, just let me explain. I don't want to hear it. You hear the voices of Celeste and Flintheart ringing out from downstairs. It must be extremely late. What could they possibly be arguing about at this hour? I want you out of my house! Out! A dead silence lingers the air before you leaves. You hear someone rush out of the tavern. Whoever slammed the door behind them. What's that all about? It's none of your business. You only met those two today. It'd probably be best not to get involved with their affairs. And as you tell yourself that, a brief image of Celeste's smile appears in your mind. Damn it. You slowly make your way out of your room. The hallway is nearly pitch black. You can barely see a few inches ahead of you. You have to watch your step to avoid tripping. You run into Flintheart, who is slowly walking up the stairs. Even as close, it's hard to see his expression in the darkness. Sorry, I just heard... Right, I forgot you two were here. His words trailed off. Is everything okay? Sorry, I'm just going to... You awkwardly shimmy past Flintheart and head downstairs. He doesn't move out your way. It's clear his mind is elsewhere. You arrive at the dining room, but you don't see Celeste anywhere. Honestly, though, it's hard to tell with how dark the room is. Celeste, are you still here? You don't receive an answer. You remember hearing someone slam the door earlier. Your eyes are drawn to the tavern entrance. Celeste? No answer. Celeste! Where are you? Ugh. The merchant you spoke with before steps out from his hat and holding a lantern. He appears to be irritated by all the noise you're making. Oh, you're that kid from before. Do you have any idea what time it is? This isn't the city. You can't just make a bunch of noise like this. Right. Sorry. I was just looking for Celeste. Who? Celeste McCoy. She's Flintheart's daughter. The merchant's expression becomes a little colder. Do you know them? What do you want? What do you want with that bastard? What? Those two probably woke up half the street with us all that yelling. I don't need you to keeping us up too. If I hear any more noise, I'm going to call the town guard. Before you can get a word in, the merchant walks back into his home in a huff. You look around, but you still don't see any sign of Celeste. You decide to continue searching. I can't believe I said those things to her. She'll never forgive me for this. I see your temper as short as ever, Flintheart. You! Honestly, how do you live in this darkness? Luxio. What are you doing here? And how dare you bring that witchcraft into my home? You've been busy lately. Your little rallies have been gathering quite a lot of support. Too much support for my family's liking. And what's that? You came all this way to convince me to stop? You have my word. If you stop spreading the dissonance, no harm will come to you or your family. Ha! Your word is as good as the dirt you lick off King Oliver's boots. And if I ever trust the words of a murderer like you. Flintheart, please. As someone you once called a friend, I'm only going to ask of you one time. Friend. I'd be dead in the ground before I ever called the likes of you a friend. Get out of my house. I don't have time for your nonsense. Unfortunately, I don't think you have much time for anything. Yeah! Damn it. Damn it! Flintheart, you fool. Why couldn't you just listen to me? Boofulf, I require your assistance. Yes, sir? By the scale lord, what did you killed him? Alert the town guard. Tell him that you saw his daughter fleeing the scene. I'm sure that their neighbors heard them arguing with each other. They'll immediately suspect her. At once, sir. You've been searching for Celeste for a while. How long have you been outside? 2 hours? 3? However long it's been, it's clearly taken a toll on you. Where is she? What am I going to do now? You hear a fervent voice. Could it be? Oh! As you peer behind an old tree, you finally find her. She's looking just as tired as you are, probably even more so. Her eyes are puffy and red, but she's doing her best to hide it with a smile. I've been looking all over for you. Oh, sorry. I'm guessing we woke you up? Yeah. Is everything okay? It's nothing. It was just an argument. But from the way she reacted, this is clearly not common. You suppose that's none of your business, but you decide not to pry it further. Have you been looking for me all this time? I have. Thank you. But I am okay now. You should head back. What about you? I think I'm gonna stay out a little longer. You know that you should mind your own business, but I'm sure whatever happened between you two, it's nothing you can't talk out. It doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes Miss Toma and I get into fights too. But no matter what happens, we're always able to talk through it. Sorry, I know it's none of your business, but I really appreciate it. Thank you. You're right. Let's go back. What? You're right back at the McCoy Tavern, but it's now just surrounded by several carriages and knights clad in plate armor. Is that the Inquisition? Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition! What? The Arcane Institution. They're an order of knights that investigate a crime scene committed using magic. As you say the word crimes, you and Celeste share a glance that coming to the same realization. Both of you rush towards the tavern, but Celeste outpaces you by a large margin. What? No! No! She reaches the tavern before you, and before anyone can stop her, she takes a look inside the inn. Whatever she saw made her cry out loud in anguish. She drops to the ground in tears. There she is! Celeste McCoy, by authority of the Wyvern Guard Crown, I'm placing you under arrest. Upon seeing Celeste, one of the knights steps forwards and grabs her. Surprisingly, she's able to break free from his grips and tries to push further into the tavern. Noticing the commotion, 3 other knights rush and grab her and begin dragging her away. She kicks and screams against them, and then desperately trying to break free. Even between the 3 knights, it's taking all their strengths to subdue her. What are you doing to her? What's going on here? Tyrion. Miss Tomiya approaches you. You breathe a small sigh of relief when you see she's okay. Miss Tomiya! God, I should have known that he was one of yours. Just stay out of her way. Miss Tomiya, what's going on? Why is the Inquisition here? I'm surprised myself, but from what I understand, Flintheart McCoy has been murdered. Murdered? Yes, I would like to send my data. You follow the Inquisition back to the city where Celeste is being detained. According to Miss Tomiya, Celeste was the prime suspect in Flintheart's murder, and due to the supposed nature of the crime, her case would be pushed to trial immediately. But many elements of the situation still don't make sense. The Inquisition only investigates crime committed using magic. So why is Celeste their prime subject? Could she be a mage? This is ridiculous. She has the right to speak to an attorney. Anyways, you find yourself met with another hurdle. A very frustrating one. Yeah, well, we can't let you see her until she's been processed. Her trial's in an hour. How has she not been processed yet? I don't know what to tell you, kid, but you can help. You don't need to use the eye to know that's a complete lie. So you really plan to defend her? Do you know if she can even afford a lawyer? I just can't stand here and do nothing. You saw them, didn't you? There's no way she murdered her father like that. I know that look. I was saving this for a very special occasion, but Attorney's RuneScape has been added to your notes. This is an Attorney's Runestone? If you're going to defend her, you're going to need one. You begin to tear up. You wanted one of these ever since you were a child. It's basically a badge of honor for attorneys. Don't cry, you're a culprit. Sorry. Anyways, keep one thing in mind. If you try to defend her, the Inquisition isn't going to fight you fairly. Our court system only exists to create the illusion of justice. They hate people like us, and they'll do anything in their power to sabotage you. Damn it, you knew they were trying to get in your way, but you didn't expect them to do it this blatantly. Ugh. With all this noise. You're that knight from the tavern! Oh, that is a Commander Oven White to you, kid. I'm gonna assume he's gonna be like the detective that that's always gonna get in our way. I had a feeling Tomiya would be sniffing around this case, but I didn't expect her to send a kid to do her dirty work. Commander, he said he wants to talk to the mage. And she's got a right to an attorney, doesn't she? Well, she hasn't been processed. Commander White looks confused for a moment. The hell kind of bullshit are you trying to pull? Let him through, you idiot. Yes, sir. The knight leads you through the halls of the dungeon. Or something built in the capital. It looks extremely old and decrepit. You pick up the negative emotions from the prisoners nearby. It's heavy and almost crushing feeling. You've always had to avoid crowded places because of how sensitive you are to people's thoughts. You never felt this much concentrated despair before. Bullshit. Yes, I have. I played Danganronpa. Oh, it's you! Celeste is lying down on the cold floor of one of the detention cells, but she immediately gets up as soon as she sees you. What are you doing here? Tomiya told me about what happened to your father. I'm so sorry. I just don't understand. I don't understand any of this. Why would someone do this? Why are they blaming me for it? I'm not sure about the details, but it's clear that there was elements of magic involved in what happened. Once they arrested you based on that evidence, I can only conclude one thing. Celeste, you're a mage, aren't you? Yes, I am. And do you have noble blood? Of course not! Why would you say that? Sorry, but the ability to use magic is hereditary. Most mages tend to have some kind of noble blood. I honestly don't like thinking about that. I'm the daughter of Jolin and Flintart McCoy. That's all I need to know about myself. It would probably be best not to push the matter further. Anyways, you're probably arrested because you're a mage. What? A crime was committed using magic, and you're the only one who used the only mage around at the time. Is that seriously the only reason? I only know how to cast one spell. The Arcane intuition doesn't care about the truth. They only care about closing their cases. Celeste, your case is being pushed to trial. You're going to be brought before a judge within the hour. What? No one told me anything! Damn it. They weren't even planning to telling her? If you'll have me, I'd like to be your defense counsel for the trial. Right, I forgot you're an attorney. Would you really do that for me? After everything I've seen them do, I can't just stand by and do nothing. But they're a part of the kingdom. Do they even have a chance? Celeste, man, King God, how about let any of them do anything to you? What? Sorry, it's just something I have a saying. No, don't apologize. I really appreciate you doing this. It's clear that this entire situation is bittersweet for her. And because of the Inquisition's delays, you haven't had any time to investigate the crime scene. You're confident before, but you begin to doubt whether or not you can really do this. Everything's so happening so fast, it feels so unreal. No, you have to do this. This is the exact reason you became a lawyer. No matter what happens, you'll acquit Celeste. A courtroom? I'm in a real courtroom. Actually, entering the courtroom has taken a lot of wind out of your sails. You've never been here as an attorney before. You only acted as Miss Tomara's assistant. The woman at the prosecutor's bench is staring at you. As Tony mentioned her before you went to see Celeste. What's her name again? I think it was Arya Steelwind. You can feel the coldness of her glare burrowing into you. Why is she tearing you down? Is she trying to intimidate you? Because it's working. Wow. What a judge. Still not better than Your Honor. Well, I mean, he probably is Your Honor, but you know. The court is now in session for the trial of Celeste McCoy. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. He doesn't necessarily sound very ready. Regardless, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Stingwheel, please list the charges. The defense is Celeste McCoy, a mercenary for hire and a registered mage. Wait, did you just say mercenary? Yeah, I had to take up a job after my family's tavern was shut down. Oh, right. That's not exactly the first occupation you choose. She was charged with second-degree murder and the neglected misuse of the arcane arts. I see, so there was magic involved. Yes. The crime occurred while it was in the McCoy Tavern, a local inn that was shut down years ago. The locals reported hearing a loud commotion coming from within the building. Hours later, a carriage driver that was nearby checked out the disturbance. It was that when he found the victim, the defendant's sword still impaled in his dead body. The Inquisition has provided the autopsy report and the record of the sword. Autopsy report has been added to your notes. Celeste's sword has been added to your notes. What is the defendant's relationship with the victim? I see that they share a same last name. The defendant is the victim's daughter, but not by blood. She was adopted into the family when she was an infant. Her birth parents are currently unknown. I see. What an unfortunate turn of events. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Commander Orrin White to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Name's Orrin White. I'm a commander of the Arcane Intuition. Armin, can you please testify about the details of the Inquisition's investigation? Yeah. We got a call late last night. Someone discovered a dead body inside the McCoy Tavern. When we arrived on the scene, we found Flint McCoy dead on the floor. The defendant's sword still inside him. We had several witnesses who heard the victim and the defendant in a loud argument before the body was discovered. Their argument had just turned ugly, but because the defendant had killed the victim using her magic sword. That isn't really an incriminating. One of her possessions is the murder weapon. Mr. Coulthurst, you may begin your cross-examination. You open your mouth to respond, but nothing comes out. You can't think of anything to say. Everything is blank. Mr. Cuthbert? Hey, what are you doing? This is the part where you say something, right? I'm sorry, I don't. Your insanity is just getting worse and your press are becoming more and more desperate. Are you hyperventilating? What a disappointment. I was hoping to fight against the infamous Ruby Tomria today, but it's clear you can't even hold a candle to her. Your Honor, it's clear the defense has nothing to say against the prosecution's overwhelming evidence. Yep, the case is pretty open and shut. No, wait! This isn't what you're supposed to happen. I'm sorry, Tonian. I couldn't acquit Faye. She was found guilty. What? But that means they're gonna execute her? No, not again. Are you seriously gonna let that happen again? Tyrion! Celeste grabs your shoulders and shakes you out of your panic. You need to calm down. Her gaze is calm and focused despite the gravity of the situation. She looks so stern, not angry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to... Stop, just listen to me. You know what to do, right? Just do it the same way you play chess. What? I don't know, you were just so calm and focused when you were playing before. No matter how close I got to being you, you always knew how to stay calm and win. So just channel that feeling and look at the pieces. That doesn't make sense, and yet it makes all the sense. You take a moment to focus and let everything disappear from the world. Every statement that he made, every word that came out of his mouth. Each of those possible weaknesses that you can attack. Every bleak moment can be turned around. You just need to consider every angle. My apologies for the delay, Your Honor. Defense is ready to begin the cross-examination of the witness. Very well. There we go. Thank God that worked. Carefully examine every statement he made and find something that contradicts the evidence in your notes. Once you do that, present the contradicting evidence to prove that the testimony is false. You are cross-examining a witness. Carefully examine each of the statements they made, finding the statement that contradicts a clue, a spell, or a profile in your notes. Once you identify the false statement, click the present button and present the contradiction evidence and move forward. At what time exactly did you call this guy, and who discovered the body? The call came in at 1:25 a.m. As for the witness who discovered it, he wants to remain incognito. It's unusual for a witness to stay anonymous. Well, it's within their rights. But this would be a lot easier if you could question the witness directly. What happened when you arrived, Commander? How do you know that the sword is my client's? Her sword is made out of some kind of special alloy. I think it was forged out in the country or something. It's hard to be mistaken something like that. We also have several eyewitnesses who verified that sword belongs to the defendant. She made no effort to hide it from the public. Quite on the contrary, she was quite proud to show it off. But even if the sword belongs to my client, that doesn't necessarily she was the one who stabbed him. Yeah, well... How did they know it was my client, the victim that were arguing? You were there, weren't you? You had heard them too. Every witness we talked to knew it was them. Well... Your Honor, it's clear that the defense is playing the devil's advocate. Even he should recognize their voices. Well, they got you there. Your argument turned ugly because the defense killed her. That's contra. There are plenty of people around who could have committed the crime. The tavern has been closed for years. The defendant, the victim, and Rubitomio were the only ones there before the body was discovered. Plus, the murder weapon definitely belongs to her. Well, that's a given. Miss Toma didn't do it, and it's hard to prove that someone else was at the crime scene. But you can't help feel that there's something off about what he just said. You shouldn't have panicked so much before. His testimony is straightforward, but that will actually make this easier. Assuming that Miss McCoy is innocent, has to be a flaw in his logic. You just need to compare every statement before each statement before you in your notes and find a contradiction. Okay, perfect. Died from being stabbed. Oh. Fuck. That is the magic she had.
Objection!
Commander White, you testified that the victim was killed using the defendant's magic sword. Am I correct? Yeah, it's pretty obvious when you look at the crime scene. I think I'd actually have to disagree with you on that. The defendant's sword couldn't have possibly been the murder weapon. What are you talking about, kid? The sword was inside his body. Of course that's what killed him. That may be the case, but look at this observatory report. It states that the fatal wound has a very heavy traces of magic. So how would a non-magic sword leave traces of magic on the body? What? To leave a trace like that, the wound would have to be created with something magical. My client's sword may look fancy and expensive, but it's extremely mundane. That doesent make a lick of sense. If the sword didn't kill him, then what was in the body? Yes, I find that quite strange as well. Well, there is one reasonable explanation, Your Honor. The wound was created magically, and something shoved the sword into the wound afterward. What the hell are you talking about? The defendant is a damn mage. She could have easily killed the victim using magic. That may be, Commander, but why would she kill the victim using magic and then stab him with her sword? She would just be incriminating herself. No, if anything, this is a series of events proves one thing. Somebody used magic to kill the victim, and then they pushed my client's sword into her wound to frame her.
Objection!
Don't get ahead of yourself. What? Your Honor, the defense is trying to spin the facts in his favor. He claims that a third party committed the crime using the sword to frame the defendant. But wouldn't the simpler explanation be this? The magic was being channeled through the sword at the time of death. That's what left the magical traces at the body. Commander, please tell the defendant how the murder was committed using magic. What? All right. I think I'll see where you're going with this. It's true that the sword itself isn't magical, but magic can still be channeled through it. The defendant over there, her spell composition has a spell called Slit Mage Blade. She must have used it on her sword before stabbing the victim. That spell is the reason why the traces of transmutation magic is on the wound. So her spell composition contains a spell called Mage Blade. A spell compendium is a magical device that lists every spell a mage can cast. Luckily, Celeste's compendium only contains one spell. That means she can only cast that one spell. Celeste, do you have your spell compendium with you? No, I left it at the tavern after. Well, you know. If you can look at the description for Mage Blade, you have to approach this another way. The commander's testimony is a lot vaguer this time. If you can press the statements, you'll be able to find new information that you can use against him. Yeah, it's not like I could have pressed him the first time. Because that's what I do every time. Whether if it's inspired by Ace Attorney or it is an Ace Attorney game. Press, then present. That's how it works. Pressing statements. During cross-examination, you can press the statements to acquire more information. Sometimes pressing the right statement can make the witness add a statement to their testimony. Are you saying that my client used a spell and channeled it through her sword? There's a vast number of spells that operate like that. Spells from the School of Transmutation are almost always channeled through an object. Mage Blade. It's a transmutation spell that sharpens my sword. I usually use it when I need to cut through an enemy's plate armor. You didn't realize that she led such a lethal lifestyle. But anyways, wouldn't it be excessive for the defendant to use a spell like that on the victim? He wasn't wearing any kind of armor at the time of death. The victim and the defendant were in an intense argument. Perhaps she used the spell in a fit of rage. It was a crime of passion, after all. That theory is a lot far-fetched. You need hard evidence if you want to dispose of it. She must have used it on her sword before stabbing the victim. But why wouldn't she go through all the trouble of doing that? Her sword alone would have been enough to commit the murder. Mages always are looking for an excuse to throw their power around. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Isn't that just your own personal bias, Commander? We don't need to understand why the defendant did what she did. The fact of the matter is that magic was present at the time. Do you have any evidence for the contrary? You don't. Yet. If she used a spell like that, wouldn't that have created traces of magic on the ground? How so? Well, let's say we follow the prosecution's theory. That would mean the victim fell to the ground with the sword still inside him. At this point, Mage Blade would still be active, right? It would definitely leave magical traces on the ground after making physical contact with it. We're already way ahead of you. We had our people scan the crime scene, and we found traces of transmutation blood right under the body, just like you said. Oh. If you still don't believe me, I have a picture of the crime scene right here. Oh, why was this picture not brought to my attention? There's no need. This entire case is open and shut. You've seen pictures of the before, but it feels different now that the body is of someone you knew for a day. Looks like there are traces of magic on the ground, but this shape is a little weird, isn't it? What was that just now? Right. This photo does show that he was stabbed from the front. Why do you feel like there's something wrong with this picture? This would be a lot easier if you knew the parameters of Magic Blade. Perhaps you can tell that.
Objection!
Okay. Let me look at the picture again. Stab from... Nailed it. I'm sorry, Commander White, but it seems that you presented another glaring contradiction. Oh yeah? What's that? You said that my client would stab the victim from the front. Am I correct? Yeah, you can see it plain in that picture. So where's your contradiction? That's the thing, Commander. Your picture clearly shows that the victim was stabbed from the front. But the opposite report said that he died from the stab wound from behind. What?
Objection!
Ugh, you were supposed to reveal everything that you had. Why wasn't this photo given to me? There was no need. There's no way it could have been anything other than that damn mage. Mutters that ring out across the gallery. Didn't matter how corrupt the justice system was, they wouldn't be able to cover up such a blatant inconspiracy. You had them right where you wanted them. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this? I'll tell you what the meaning is behind this, Your Honor. As the observer states, the victim died from the stab wound originating from his back. But this photo clearly shows that the sword entered from his front. This can only mean one thing. The sword was inserted into the wound after the fatal wound has already been created. That's crazy. Do you honestly expect us to believe that? Then please enlighten me, Commander White. How else would the sword be facing the opposite way? Do you think my client stabbed the victim with the hilt of her sword? I didn't think so. What really happened is clear. The real murderer stuck the sword to the victim's wound to implicate my client. But when they made a careless mistake, they stuck the sword to the opposite side.
Objection!
It appears that I underestimated you, Mr. Cuthbert. But you still got ahead of yourself. Really, Miss Sealwind. I believe that Mr. Cuthbert has accreditably casted doubt on your case. Oh, did he now? Let me ask you one Mr. Question, Cuthbert. If your client didn't kill Flint and McCoy, then who did? How should I know? If I'm not mistaken, it's the commander's job to figure that out. Oh, as I'm well aware of the commander's incompetence, but one fact still stands. The magic was detected on the wound and the sword. Why would you like me to tell you how many mages live in that small town? You don't like where she's going with this. Just one. And that's only one registered mage in that entire town. And that mage is your client. What? The defendant was also established to have been with the victim hours before the death. She was the last known person with him. She was the only mage there. Objection! I was the last person to see the victim alive. In addition to that, I have several witnesses who have heard them arguing. How she murdered the victim? It's a simply unanswered question. I see. The certainty does change the matter. I can't say that the prosecution's evidence is irrefutable. There is still evidence that casts guilt upon the defendant. Damn it, you almost had them. There's far too many unanswered questions for me to pass a verdict. Well, give the law enforcement time to clear those unknowns. I suggest that they conduct the investigations more thoroughly this time. We'll resume the trial tomorrow morning. Court is adjourned. Hello, Cuthbert. As you walk out of the courtroom with Celeste, you're greeted by Miss Tomia. Miss Tomia, you're here? You recall how you froze up during your first cross-examination. You feel a little ashamed that your mentor saw all of that. Well, at least at the end of the day, you were able to put it together. And once you did that, you performed adequately. On that note, I wanted to give you this. Celeste's spell Quintonium was added to your notes. Mageblade has been added to your notes. My spell Quintonium? I swiped it from the dining area before the intuition arrived. I thought it'd be best for you to have it. So, this is your spell Quintonium, and it only has one spell. Mageblade. This means the prosecution has to prove that Celeste used that specific spell. It will restrict how they approach this case. It will restrict how they approach this case, which gives you an edge over them. But that prosecutor is really something else. You mean Prosecutor Steelwing? You can still remember her ripping glare. It gives you the chills just thinking about it. You wouldn't even know it, but this is also her first trial. Really? I thought that her inexperience would make a first good opponent. But that girl, she's a natural in the court. It makes me wonder why a Steelwing would ever choose to become an attorney in the first place. What do you mean? The Steelwings are a powerful noble house. Of the noble families, they are one of the few who answer directly to the king. Most members of their house are high-ranking positions in the kingdom's military, so it's a bit strange that she chose to become a prosecutor despite of that. Steelwind. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. In any case, it's best for you to focus on the trial. You have about a day until the court resumes. Right. Now that I have time, I'd like to ask you some questions, Celeste. Namely about that argument you had with your father. Oh. You seem the bailiff stare daggers. You see, it looks like they are waiting to take her back to her cell. Whatever questions you have will have to wait. I should probably go. Celeste walks away with avoiding eye contact with you. Bringing up her argument with Playheart may have struck a nerve. I will also use this opportunity to investigate the crime scene. I wouldn't be surprised if the intuition missed something. You utterly embarrassed them today. Don't expect them to make the same mistake twice. Right. There's still a lot of things we don't know about. As much as I hate to admit it, your skills of deduction far past mine. If anyone figured out what really happened that night, it's you. Yes, I would like to save my progress, thank you. Save. You're right back at the McCoy Tavern. Lucky for you, the Inquisition set up a teleportation circle for you to use. With that circle, you can magically teleport between the capital and the crime scene instantaneously. It's definitely miles better than having traveled by carriage. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Commander White noticed you as you entered the tavern. It looks like he's working with a team of knights to investigate the crime scene. I'm the defense attorney in this case. I have just as much as right to investigate this crime scene as you do. Yeah, whatever. Just remember, I got my eye on you, kid. I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about the case. Ha! As if I'd help the likes of you. I saw who your boss is, and I know what you're up to. That witch probably sent you here to con me. What? I'm just looking for some information. A likely story. But it's the true story! He was cooperating before when you let you see Celeste. Why is he being so stubborn now? Is he angry that you embarrassed him in court today? Yeah, probably. Like, this is his whole thing. And you just walked in here and be like, you missed something, you idiot. In any case, you won't get anywhere at this rate. If you want his help, you need to persuade him through with an argument. I've never seen a real spell condonium before. I'm still not exactly sure how they work. Well, spell condoniums are magical devices that explain exactly which spell a mage can cast. You can probably guess. The intuition uses these things all the time. Right, having that information is definitely a blessing for the defense and prosecution. Alright, we have a rune stone. Let's shove it down people's face! What do you think about this? I don't know what you're expecting me to say. Not much to say about that. Best try something else. Aww, he doesn't have something fun to say about it. Absor seems to be pretty detailed in the aspect and vague, in some aspects and vague in the other. Why is that? I'm not sure about the details, but the Absor is performed by a mage who studies the innovation. The magic gives Their magic gives us more detail how someone dies, but they always find me blind spots. Blind spots? Like what? Well, for one thing, some mucks around the body after. If someone mucks around the body after death, the report will become muddled. Divination magic can tell what happened to a body, not in what order and at what times. But someone definitely stabbed Flintheart's body with a sword. If that's what he's saying is true, it will be that much harder to figure out what kind of weapon would originally killed him. The mage's sword is really strange. It's almost a shame that we had to confiscate it. It's not really abnormal. It's definitely not like any kind of sword I've seen. I wonder if it's forged in the Eastern Kingdoms. What do you think about this? I don't know what you're expecting me to say. Not much to say about that. It's best to try something else. The Inquisition. So, what does the Arcane Inquisition do exactly? You're trying to pick a fight with me? No, I'm just generally curious. Well, I'm sure you already know, but just us Inquisitors investigate crime scenes that involve magic. Do crimes like this happen often? Nah, maybe once in a blue moon. Makes sense. Most mages are in the nobility, after all. Even if they are untouchable, they don't make a habit of getting into trouble with the law. You must have an easy job then. You got that right. The reason we exist is closing up the nobility's messes. He doesn't seem too happy about that. Commander White, you seem to speak negatively about my client's magic. Do you have a personal grudge against mages? You're damn right I do. Wow, you didn't even try to deny it. And if you had any sense, you would too. All mages have to do is wave their hands and say magic nonsense. Then you suddenly have a dead body on the ground. And don't get me started on mage blight. So, if some noble uses their magic too much, they end up snapping and going on a rampage. I don't know if this is going too far, but why join the Inquisition if you hate mages so much? Considering the fact that that my job is to sweep nobility crimes under the rug. Sorry, I didn't mean to insinuate. Nope, you have the right of it. Any noble is involved in the crime, I'm ordered to look the other way. You don't seem very happy to do that. Why do you stay in this line of work? Because every once in a while, I'm allowed to put a criminal mage behind bars. We can go after the nobles, but any other mage is fair game. Or at least, they were before your boss showed up. Whoops! Your boss? Does he have something against Miss Tomia? I have to ask, did something happen between you and Miss Tomia? Ha! Miss Tomia? What are you, her lackey or something? I am her loyal assistant? No, actually, she's my guardian. Oh, I didn't know she even had a... Look, kid, I don't know what the deal is between you two, but no good will ever come from you from associating with her. This is about the rumor, isn't it? Although over the years, there have been several indecent rumors surrounding Miss Tomia. She's been accused of forgery, blackmail, all the manners of legal activities. Ah, yes, the classic! All the classics of any lawyer of these games. It's clear misinformation spreads by nobility to discredit her. She's always been fine with it, but you can't help but get angry on her behalf. But she'll tell you not to do so. It's more than just the rumors. I've seen it for myself. That woman's evil, kid. She defends his majors who don't have the protection of a nobility. She's not evil. She's a hero. Yeah, whatever. There's just two ways to look at it, kid. Two sides of our story. Yay! I'm gonna investigate though. Should I? No, let's have an argument. Commander White is unusually hostile towards you, and you have a feeling it's not just because you embarrassed him in court today. If you can clear up this misunderstanding, you might be able to convince him to help you. Yes. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. You have a problem with me, Commander White. You should know exactly what my problem is with you. I saw who you work for. have to spell it out for you? Or does your not boss tell anything what she gets up to? Arguments are not always followed using hard evidence. Sometimes you'll need to elecute to convince your opponents that their claim is wrong. When prompted with an elocution, choose from one of the three possible responses. The correct response is a glean from reading your opponent's psychological profile. You have 9 rights to throw baseless accusations against me or Miss Tomia. Whatever you think she's done, you're wrong. Ha! You're either a good liar or you really are that naive. That woman's hands are dirty, and nothing you'll say will change my mind. You felt that one. Remember, regardless of what Miss Tomia has done, I'm the one heading this case. What are your problems with this her? Have nothing to do with me. They still don't change the fact that you work for her. I've seen that woman do all kinds of shady shit in the cases I've worked. Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you named it. I'll bet you're just the same, a successor for the devil of defense attorneys. I'm not Ruby Tomia. It doesn't matter if those rumors are true or not. Regardless of what you've seen her do, I'm gonna run an honest case. Look, kid. I like nothing more than to believe in you, but after everything I've seen her do, I know better. Anyone taught by that woman can't be trusted can't be anything more than a crook. Her ways of teaching me was ruthless, I'll give you that. But the only thing she taught me is how to practice law. Have you seen me engage in any crook-like behaviors? Yes, nailed it. You just want some info, right? Yes, that's all I'm asking for. Alright, I'll answer your questions. Just don't make me regret this. You successfully persuaded Melon right. Hell yeah! This probably goes without saying, but I don't believe that the sword is the murder weapon. Right, I guess you have to prove that someone else has put the sword there. Did the Inquisition find anything suspicious on the scene? If you're asking, we found another bloody weapon lying around. We definitely didn't. That would be a little too convenient, wouldn't it? But let's say that the girl really is being framed. If there was another murder weapon, the killer probably walked out with it. Do you think they could have hidden it somewhere in the tavern? Doubt it. After the trial, Steelwing turned this place upside down and scanned it with her magic. If someone did hide a murder weapon here, they hid it well. Or they hid it in plain sight. I can't believe you made such an obvious mistake during your investigation. Oh, shut it with that! I already got an earful from Steelwing about that mess. But you don't have to worry about me mucking things up. Steelwing's basically taking over the entire investigation. Wait, does she have the authority to do that? Normally she wouldn't, but I know better to go against an order from a noble. Right. There's definitely a strange power dynamic between them. But honestly, that girl sweats the details too much. She's even had men drawing them scales map of the crime scene. Wait, really? Do you have a copy? Sure, knock yourself out. Don't know how much of good do you. I heard that this was the prosecutor Steelwind's first trial. She must be pretty talented if that's true. A pain in my ass is what she is. That damn noble comes here telling me how to do my job. I honestly have no idea what she's trying to even do. She's doing in this line of work. I heard that she's from a renowned noble house. She must be a pretty powerful mage. Ha! Powerful is an understatement. The Steel Wings who came before her would turn this entire town into a glass crater. What? There's no way that's true, right? There's a broken bottle on the floor. It's shattered close to the chalk outline of the body. The label on the has words lotus juice on it. I've never heard that brand before. Must be foreign. The Inquisition lit some candles, but magical lamps. But it's a magical lamp right there. I wonder why they're not using those instead. It's a painting of a mage, and there's some text on it. Selma Dallenhart, the legendary practitioner of arcane arts. He's mysteriously disappeared one day. It's rumored that he was developing a formula for a new transformation spell. However, he had reckless casting the spell, and Dallenhart constantly lost control of its magic. His body was never found. Many speculate that he didn't actually die during the accident, but if that's true, where did he end up? Sounds like the contrary tales against using magic. That might explain why Farhart keeps it in his tavern. There's a modern-looking lamp mounted on the wall. It's a lamp powered by artificy. I didn't expect to find something this sophisticated in a town like this. Pah! Artificy is just another form of magic. Actually, artificially drawn from surrounding lane lines too. I didn't ask for a science lesson, kid! Anyways, look at the artifice got these folks. The arcane power itself broke, and they have in power for weeks. Yep, nothing beats the good old oil and flame. It's a painting of a man in a suit. There's some text on it. Adam Evelyn, a patrician of a penitic. I've heard of this guy. He's some kind of politician from one of the nations of West here. I heard he's pretty much a shoo-in to win whatever election they got going on here there. An election? Was Flintard studying democracy for his little revolution? You think you found everything you can here, but what does it all mean? There's no murder weapon to be found. There's no obvious evidence of another person at the scene. Hey, you okay? You got quiet all of a sudden. Alright, just focus. Close your eyes and let everything disappear from the world. Hey, you listening? So, there's no clear evidence pointing to another killer. There is, however, evidence pointing to how Flintheart moved before his death. What? There's no blood trail leading from to or from the body. What does this imply about the location of Flintheart's death? Flintheart died where he was attacked. He didn't move from his position at all. Yeah, I guess you're right. There's also the opposite report, which said he died from a stab from behind. He was probably caught off guard when he and too implicated to move anywhere else. This means that the attack happened when at the exact position he fell over. There's also the shattered bottle of lotus juice. I doubt it means anything, but the shattered bottle is right next to the body. Flintheart dropped the bottle when he was attacked. From that, we can infer that he was holding it the moment before he was attacked. That's so strange about one bottle, though. It may seem like an insignificant detail, but the detail could help me infer some other elements of what was happening during the murder. Right. There's also the fact that the artificially light was out. There were these candles that went here when you arrived on the crime scene, Norman. No, we had to light them so we could see the crime scene properly. We thought it was weird too. The girl and her father must have had an argument in the pitch darkness. So they didn't light any candles to make up for the broken lights. The crime scene had no lights during the murder. The argument that Celeste and Flintheart must have had was spontaneous. They weren't planning on having a conversation in this room. In this darkness, Flintheart would have had a lot more visibility. If he had sat behind, perhaps he didn't see it coming. He was clearly surprised when there was probably too much shock to run away. Also, the bottle may seem insignificant, but he was holding it when he was attacked. Maybe he was pouring a drink for himself, or maybe it was for a visitor. Either way, the assailant must have been unseen by Flintheart. Kid. Or the assailant attacked him from behind from his bond spite while his back was turned. Why would his back be turned, though? Was he distracted by something? Kid! What? What was that all about? Sorry, sometimes I just go lost on my own thoughts. Yeah, well, cut it out. You're freaking me out. Right. Anyways, you think you found everything you can here. You should move somewhere else. Oh. Cuthbert, you're back already? Sorry, I guess I'm just a little lost about where to go next. Well, I suppose I can give you some guidance. This time. Assistance. It helps to speak with someone about the investigation. One character will almost always be able to assist you. You can speak with them about investigation or ask them where to go next. Right now, we're pretending to assist you, but who knows? Maybe someone else might be helping you in the future. Don't waste my time, Cuthbert. So sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna... I found a lot of clues, but they don't really tell me what happened. Even so, knowing the state of the crime scene is instrumental cross-examining witnesses. Right, you probably want to make a habit of remembering what you learned during the crime scene. That's why I used to write notes when I was doing the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Oh wait, no. Let's not waste our time. So where should I go next, Miss Tomiya? The Inquisition should be done questioning Celeste by now. You want to talk to her and find out why she was arguing with Flintheart. Oh, okay, I guess that's all. Can I examine? Yes. The door leads to the courtroom. The fates of countless people have been decided beyond these doors. It's a bench outside the courtroom. I used to sit here as a child when Miss Tomiya was defending her clients. This is a painting of a knight. There's some text under it. Sir Diageo, former commander of the Arcane Intuition, well beloved by both people and his fellow knights. After many years of service, Commander Dojo retired with honors. With this plaque, we thank and honor him for his dedication and commitment to the kingdom of Wyvengard. This is a painting of a knight. There's some text under it. General Sir de Seniros, a former chief of the King's Guard, a beloved ally to the House with Steelwind, who serves during the Great Luminate War. The annals of his story have countless tales for his courage and her heroism. With this plaque, we thank and honor him for commanding the defense of our kingdom in our greatest time of need. I guess that's all for the courtroom. Alright. If people keep seeing you there, they're going to start asking questions. Leave the investigation to me. All you have to do is stay quiet until the trial's over. While heading upstairs, you spot the prosecutor having a conversation with someone. They seem to be in some kind of argument. Enough! I will do as I see fit! You may be a Silverwing, but this is my land. Oh, sorry. Oh, you're that defense attorney from that trial. I am. I'm sorry, but who? Ah, how rude of me. My name is Lord Garrick Price, the ruling noble of this land. He's kind of hot, but he's a nobleman, so I don't like him. As the ruling noble, I suppose I should thank you for playing a role in the current trial, as misguided as it may be. I suppose you also think my client is guilty. It doesn't matter what I think. This entire scandal has done nothing to rile up the common folk. Magic is a gift for the nobilities, and the nobilities know alone. It is the symbol of aristocracy and divine to our rule. And now that bastard child has tainted that symbol in the public eye. All of that has nothing to do with her. She's just an innocent woman who got wrapped up in all of this. Even if she is innocent, the charges have been laid and made public. Someone must take the fall, unless the public accuse the justice system of corruption. So you're saying she should be found guilty even if she's innocent? What do you suppose will happen if she is acquitted? All the public will see is a mage going free despite the merits of evidence. That alone will be enough to cause public outrage. Tensions between the aristocracies and the common folk are highest enough. That is one insignificant girl as compared to the stability of our great kingdom. That's enough. Stop antagonizing, Pierce. I can't refute what he said, but I don't agree with it. What? The system should be based on truth and justice, not public opinion. Then why aren't you working against my client? Do you honestly think she's the kind of person who would kill her father? It doesn't matter what kind of person she appears to be. The evidence clearly points to her as the only possible killer. But you should fight according to your own ideals, just as I'll fight for mine. It's kind of hard to get a read on that woman. Alright, let's move! You return to the cell that the cell's being kept in. Alright, all the despair. The ambient despair fills your mind like a hornet stench. You do your best to ignore the emotions of the other prisoners, but you haven't found much practice at blocking out this many people. As you arrive, you see Celeste hurl down in a corner. As soon as she sees you, that mood seems to lift, but only for a moment. Oh, hi, Mr. Cuthbert. There's no need to address me so finally. Just call me Tyrion. Okay. Anyways, I came here to ask you some questions about the case. Right. Can you tell me more about this? Oh, I don't really know what to say about that. Sorry. Nobody has anything to say about my ruined stone! I'm so sad! You probably shouldn't share this to her. She's already been through enough. You shouldn't remind her about her father's death unnecessarily. This is a pretty strange sword. I've never seen anything like it. Do you like it? It's a souvenir while I was traveling the Eastern Kingdoms. Wait, you've been to the Eastern Kingdoms? I thought the Wyvengard had a strict policy of preventing people from crossing the border. Well, I didn't exactly enter legally. You quickly glance at the guard in the cell. He doesn't seem to be listening. Please don't make a habit of telling people that. You're in enough trouble as is. Yeah. Mage Blade. It's a spell that magically sharpens my sword so that I can pierce your arm. I can search your armor. Plate armor. When would you ever need to use a spell like that? Well, it's not just for plate armor. I can cut through all kinds of things with it. Trees, boulders, ballistas, fortified gates, and it cuts through most things like butter. You start to wonder what kind of life she led before this case. Can you tell me more about this? Oh, I don't really know what to say about that. Sorry. I didn't expect to find Arthur firstly in a village like yours. Yeah, I bought it for my family to make their lives easier, but I think I just made things more complicated. Yeah, without arcane power cells, these lights aren't very useful. Sorry for freezing up like that. I almost lost us the trial. No, there was no need to apologize. You did great. But it was only thanks to her. If she hadn't calmed you down, who knows what would have happened? But I still don't understand, though. Why were the traces of magic on my dad's body? Right, those traces of magic were on the sword and the body. Magical traces are particles of magical residue that are left behind when a mage casts a spell. They only linger around for 48 hours. That gives you a rough timeline of when the spell is cast. Did you cast Mage Blade on your sword that day? I did. I usually cast it when I trained in the morning. That explains why there was traces on the sword, at least. Did they trace my sword? Did the trace on my sword leave any magical trace on my dad's body? No, magical traces can't be moved around physically. For a spell to leave a trace, it has to be active when physical contact is made. Really? What does that mean, then? Whatever killed your father had a transmutation spell active on it at all times. The magical trace on your sword was just an unlucky coincidence. I can't believe this. Could you tell me more about your father? Sorry, I know this must be difficult after everything that's happened. No, it's okay. If it helps you, I'll try my best to answer your questions. Were you too close? We were. I'm sure you know this by now, but I was adopted by him and my mom. But even though I didn't have their blood, they treated me as if I did. He loved me with all of his heart until what? Does this have something to do with the argument they had? I'm sorry to say this, but I could hear your argument from my room that night. Could you tell me about what happened? For as long as I can remember, my dad has hated mages. Not sure why, but even if you mentioned magic around here, he'd fly into a rage. So I hid my magic from my family. But why even learn magic in the first place? If you really wanted to, you could have gone your whole life without using it. Ever since our tavern closed, my family's been in a lot of debt. I decided to become a mercenary to use magic to enhance my ability to fight. Most mages are in mobility, so they will pay a lot for a sword who can use magic. That's why she's a mercenary. But I know now, learning magic was the biggest mistake I've ever made. On that night, my dad found my spell compendium, and he confronted me about it. I finally came clean to him. And that's when he flew into one of his rages. He shouted at me. He told me that I betrayed him and his family. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine how that must felt. I deserve every bit of it. I knew how much he hated magic, but I learned to use it anyways. He showed me how much love, and I threw it all away. Don't say that. I'm sure he still loved you. No, I could see it in his eyes. He hated me. You feel a sharp pain in your chest as you see that thought. So there was a locked room in the tavern. It's all the way at the very end of the hallway upstairs. The Inquisition probably searched it already, but I just wanted to investigate it to make sure. A locked room at the end of the hallway? I think that's my room. Do you know how I could get in there? It's the only room in the tavern I haven't investigated. You feel a suspicious gaze from Mrs. Celeste. Does it sound like that, I swear? What's that look for? I'm your lawyer. I'm not gonna do anything weird. Okay? Not like some other protagonist. Yes, I am referring to Sigma. Sorry, you're right. Here, you can use this key to get inside. You use the key to enter Celeste's room. However, he's startled when you notice that someone is already inside. As I already told you, Knights, everything I know. What more do you... Oh, aren't you Celeste's attorney? I am. Who are you? Oh, how rude of me. I am Jolene McCoy. I'm Celeste's mother. I was at the trial this morning. I can't thank you enough for everything you have done for my daughter. So this is Celeste's mother. She might be able to tell you more about Flintheart. About that, do you mind if I ask you some questions for my investigation? Of course, I'll do anything I can to help. So what do you think about my... So can you tell me more about this? Sorry, but I don't know much about those things. She's been through enough. It's best on the reminder about her dead husband more than you need to. Can you tell me... If I only had tinfoil and heard about Celeste's powers, maybe we could have avoided all of this. You shouldn't torture yourself with hypotheticals. You did what you thought was right. I suppose you have a point. It's just such a shame that that battle shattered. Flintheart was really looking forward to surprising Celeste. It's probably his last gift to her. It's too bad that it came at a part of the crime scene. I heard that you were using artificial light to light your house. Yes, Celeste was insistent. Honestly, Flintheart and I didn't see the appeal. But she was too excited to install it. We just couldn't say no. It's also a bit of a problem, though. The machines that power the lights always break. I'm still surprised that Celeste is a mercenary. It's not the first job I've picked to support my family. I think that it fits her. She had a habit of picking fights with people when she was a child. Oh, I didn't expect that. She may be adopted, but she's definitely a Flintheart's daughter. Can you tell me more about this? Sorry, but I don't know much about these things. Can you tell me why your husband hated mages so much? I understand that most people dislike nobilities and associate magic with them. But on that night, it was like he was furious at Celeste, especially because she was a mage. Oh, you must have talked to Celeste. I wasn't there when their argument happened, but I can only imagine what he said to her. Do you know what happened to him? Why does he hate magic so much? Celeste doesn't know about this, but years ago Flintheart had a sister named Elfie. When I was a child, we were friends. There was a boy named Garrick Pierce. He was the son of a ruling noble at the time. Garrick Pierce, isn't that the nobleman who was speaking with Steelwing earlier? We were all inseparable at the time. He always sneaked into town to play with us against his family's wishes. They probably weren't too happy about that. He was quite rebellious back then. He's a completely different person now. But everything changed when Garrick began to learn how to use magic. One day, we were playing together. He wanted to show off the spells that he learned. He was told not to use his magic without an instructor there, but he was just too excited. He began casting spells, but something went horribly wrong. He lost control of his magic and fatally wounded Elfie. We tried bringing her back into town, but by that time it was too late. She was already gone. I'm so sorry. That must have been traumatizing for all of you. The next day, the Arcane Inquisition came to investigate what happened. House Pierce used their connections to cover up what happened. They even threatened the Flintheart's family into keeping quiet. After that, the official story was that Alfie has been mauled by a wolf. That's not surprising. Nobody is still in there to take responsibility for actions, even for a mistake like that. Something changed in Flintheart after that. He began speaking out against the nobility. Eventually, he started hosting rallies in this very tavern. Each night, more and more people began to listen to his word and joining his cause. The number of people that he's got under his banner was terrifying. There's even more talk of outright revolution against his kingdom. That might explain why someone would go out of their way to kill him. I knew how much danger he was putting himself in, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't convince him to stop. His attitude didn't even begin to change until after we adopted Celeste. Can you tell me more about Celeste? How did she become a part of your family? It all happened many years ago, back when the McCoy toy room was still open. We were closing one night when we found a baby with white hair abandoned in the dining area. We waited for weeks for her parents to come by, but no one ever came before her, looking for her. And that baby was Celeste? Yes, Flintheart and I always wanted a child. I thought that Celeste must have been a gift from the Scaled Lord. But one day I saw Celeste practicing her magic. I think that's when I realized someone from the nobility must have abandoned her at our inn. I didn't care though. I loved her all the same. I'm sure Flintheart did too. Wait, you knew she was a mage all this time? I did. You haven't known her very long, but she's a terrible liar. Flintheart must have noticed it too. But I think he didn't want to believe it. But it's my fault. I shouldn't have forced him into seeing the truth. I spoke with Celeste earlier. She thinks that her father hates her because she was a mage. There's no way he would ever feel that way. He loved her more than anything in the world. No matter what he said to her that night, nothing could change that. After seeing them together, you figure as much. Celeste was the world to him. When we adopted her, it was the first time in decades I've seen him so genuinely happy. They must have been really close. More than anything. Do you want to hear a story? Celeste had just returned from her travels. She won't stop talking about this foreign drink that she loved. It's called lotus juice or something like that, strange like that. Well, Flintheart did everything he could to have it shipped here. He called in a bunch of favors with his revolutionary friends, but in the end, he was only able to get one single bottle of it. Is it really that rare? Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if there was only one bottle if it was the only bottle of lotus juice in the region. Wait a minute, lotus juice? Is this the bottle that Flintheart brought? You show her a picture of the shadow bottle that you found next to Flintheart's body. It is! Oh no, he was going to surprise her with it. I found the broken pieces next to Flintheart's. Well, I found them in the dining room. That's strange. He'd been keeping it in our room so she wouldn't find it. Really? When was the last time you saw it? Right before I left the house that night. It was right before the big argument, so it wasn't just laying in the bar. He decided to retrieve it after the argument? Alright. You think you've investigated everything you can for now, but there's still one last thing you need to do. You related yourself to one last I haven't examined her room. Gosh. This is a fancy looking bed. Celeste had it custom made. Wouldn't something like this be really expensive? It was. I was really surprised when she returned from her travels. Apparently, she was making a lot of gold from her job as a mercenary. Wow, you and Flintheart must be happy for her. We are, but we still wish she get a less dangerous job. A painting of a woman with sort of aquatic animal. It's an axolotl, I think. I love that painting. Celeste brought it back from her with her travels. Supposedly, the woman is named Madeline Kaplan. From what you've heard, she was a wildfire sanctuary and an endangered species. I think the animal is painting is called a flipkey. Celeste told me she really likes them. That's interesting. You weren't always like these kind of creatures even existed. The table with several chairs. It must be used for entertaining guests. Doesn't look like it seems to use much else use though. It's a door leading to the upstairs hallway. Alright, guess we're moving back. Oh, you're back! Did you forget something? Actually, there is one last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Oh. Earlier you said something that I just can't let go. You said that your father died hating you. But after everything I heard about him, I don't think that's true. Your father loved you, Celeste, even in his final moments. He desperately wanted to reach to her. If she kept believing that he hated her, that thought will eat at her from the rest of her life. You know better than anyone. But it looks like it won't be that simple. You'll need to win an argument against her if you want to see the truth. That's the same thing I learned about them. You can't be... You just need to convince her of that. Yes. I know you're just trying to make me feel better, and I really do appreciate it. But everyone knows my father hated mages. I don't know if that's my place to say there, but there's a reason your father hated mages so much. What? When Philhart was a child, he had a sister. She was tragically killed by mages decades ago. That's why he has such an immersed hatred for magic. I never knew. But that doesn't change anything. That's all the more reason for him to have hated me. I knew how much he hated magic, but I still learned to use it anyways. Magic killed someone that he loved. No wonder he's furious. What? You're not a selfish person, Sultan, and this proves it. Oh. But you didn't learn magic to benefit yourself, did you? You learned it to save your family after your tavern was shut down. You're a good person, Celeste. You did everything you could to help your family. I'm sure your father recognized that. Just shut up. What? Shut up! Just stop it! Whatever composure she had to slow his slowly broke down. You weren't there. You didn't hear what he said to me. In his final moments, he can only think of how I betrayed him. I could see it in his eyes. There's no way he would ever forgive me. Take a look at this picture, Celeste. What? A shattered bottle? Wait, is that bottle of lotus juice? Do you know where I found this? On the floor of your family's inn. What? That can't be true. I tried to find it here, but no one sells it in Wyvern Guard. Your father knew how much you loved this drink. He called in quite a few favors just so he could have it imported for you. What? He did that? Your father didn't hate you, Celeste. He loved you more than anything. That doesn't change anything. If he did all that for me, it was before he knew about my secret. I'm sure he never would have done that if he knew the truth. That's not true at all. What in the hell do you know about him? You barely even knew him. How could you possibly know how he felt about me? Do you think I want to believe that he still loved me before he died? But I know the truth. There's no way he would ever forgive me for what I did. It's not just the fact that he brought that bottle to drink for you. It's also where the bottle was when it was shattered. What do you mean? Your mother said that bottle was stored away in her room before your argument. But I found the shattered bottle in the lobby where his body was. I ran into him before I went to look for you. He's gone upstairs to his room. That can only mean one thing. He went to retrieve the bottle after your argument ended. What? Why would he have it? It's because he was going to give it to you, Celeste. He was going to give you a gift for apologize for what he said to you. He was going to apologize? Your father loved you, Celeste. And as tragic as it is, he was going to try to apologize to you before he was murdered. I don't like this. My daughter, working as a mercenary of all things. Come on, Dad. You know I can handle myself. I don't doubt it, but you still shouldn't have risked your neck for our sakes. They close the inn, Dad. We won't be able to survive like this unless I do. Just be careful, okay? I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'd do it. What I'd do if anything happened to you. No matter what, if anyone says, you're our daughter. And we'll love you until the day we die. Dad, how could I ever think that? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Dad. Celeste had barely even kept it together throughout the whole argument, but her realization finally caused her to break down. She begins crying as loudly as she quickly embraces you in the cold, dark place she probably hadn't felt warmth in any for days. You're caught off guard and feel a little embarrassed, but you comfort her while she vents her emotions. Yay! Argument won! Are you feeling better? Yeah, I think I'm okay now. I've been thinking such horrible things this entire time. She looks at you and gives you a warm smile. It's probably for the first time you've seen her gently smile since the whole ordeal started. Thank you. But everything is really going to be okay? I'll make sure of it. I'll get justice for you and your father. It doesn't matter who stands in my way. Even if they're a man, king, or god. You're completely different now. What happened to the nervous wreck from before? Forget about that! Anyways, take some time to rest. The trial's going to resume soon. As that, you've done everything you can for now. You learned a lot about what happened the night of the murder. You just hope it's enough. But even with your investigation, you still don't know what the prosecution has planned. But we'll wait for that next time! Has Pierce told you all the details, Mr. Rudolph? Will you remember them? Yes, I pride myself in my eccentric memory. Just so there's no understandings. I do not approve of this. You said it yourself, Lady Steelwing. There's no possible way that I could have done the deed. It has to be that bastard child. I don't know what sort of takes every Bitomi I might pull tomorrow. Just see that way as a hearing of a just verdict. Yes, save. But we'll continue. I'm getting a headache, so we'll continue. We'll be picking this up again on Thursday, and we'll just get through as much as we can. Oh, thank you so much for the follow there, D-Gamer Place. Sorry, I'm just wrapping up, but like I said, I got a headache, and I really just need to stop. So, I'll be picking this up again on Thursday. I'm really excited to continue. Like, we're only just getting started, and I'm already in love with this game. So, yes. Now let's just see if there's anybody in whom I can raid. Oh, I got a lot of options tonight. It is a Tuesday, so I guess that is fair. Make sure there's not any other options before I just say fuck it and roll the dice. I'm glad you. Thank you for the raid. Let me just give you a quick shout out. But I'm just about to be wrapping up myself. I'm just finding a raid target so we can continue on this hype raid. But thank you so much for the raid. Just roll a dice. Be the quick. 3. That would be a nice. Joseph! I haven't rated Joseph in forever. So we're gonna continue on the love to my friend Joseph. She's a great friend. Seems she's doing some, she's doing some crocheting stuff, and send her lots of love, and, and bye. I'll see you guys Thursday. Bye.